Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and removing her from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father to 2 young children. Whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech.
A heated battle is erupting on Capitol Hill after lawmakers introduced a resolution targeting Representative Ilhan Omar following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. What started as a tragedy has now become a major political firestorm, with accusations that a member of Congress crossed a line many Americans believe should never be crossed. And now the House is being asked to decide whether those actions deserve punishment.
What purpose, gentlewoman from South Carolina, seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Clause 2A1 of Rule 9, I rise to give notice of my intent to raise a question of the privileges of the House. The form of the resolution is as follows. House Resolution 713, censuring Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota and removing her from the Committee on Education and Workforce and the Committee on the Budget. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a lifelong advocate for freedom of speech, civil political discourse, and the political engagement of youth. Whereas Charlie Kirk was a man of deep faith, a husband, and a father to 2 young children. Whereas on September 10, 2025, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus of Utah Valley University while exercising his First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Whereas on September 11, 2025, one day after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar gave an interview on Zateo's town hall with Mehdi Hassan in which she smeared Charlie Kirk and implied he was to blame for his own murder. Whereas on September 12, 2025, 2 days after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Representative Ilhan Omar reposted a video on X, formerly known as Twitter, which disparaged the character of Charlie Kirk and those mourning his death. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X states Charlie Kirk is dead, and before the body got cold, the far right propped his corpse up as a cudgel for their holy war. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, don't be fooled. These people don't give a single shit about Charlie Kirk. They are just using his death to further their Christo-fascist agenda. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a reprehensible human being. He enacted his political agenda by preying on weak-minded people. He took complex socioeconomic issues and simplified them by pointing fingers at outgroups, demonizing those groups, and siccing his massive following on them. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states Charlie Kirk was a stochastic terrorist, an adamant transphobe. He denied the genocide happening in Palestine. He believed the subjugation of women, and in his last dying words, he was spewing racist dog whistles. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further states, Charlie Kirk was Dr. Frankenstein, and his monster shot him through the neck. Whereas the video Representative Ilhan Omar reposted on X further blames Charlie Kirk for his own murder. Whereas Clause 1 of Rule 13 of the Rules of the House of Representatives provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House.
This House floor speech wasn't about taxes, spending, or border security. It was about something much bigger: how elected officials respond after political violence. A Republican lawmaker formally introduced a resolution accusing Representative Ilhan Omar of making statements and amplifying messages that allegedly blamed Charlie Kirk for his own murder. The resolution lays out a detailed case, citing interviews and social media activity that occurred in the days immediately following Kirk's assassination. According to the resolution, Omar reposted content describing Kirk as a reprehensible person, labeling him a dangerous political figure, and suggesting that his own actions contributed to the circumstances surrounding his death. The resolution argues that these comments went beyond political disagreement and crossed into territory that many Americans would find deeply inappropriate following a murder. And this is where the debate becomes explosive. America has always been a country where people fiercely disagree. Conservatives and liberals argue every day over policy, elections, culture, and the direction of the nation. That's part of freedom. But many people believe there is a line separating political disagreement from what appears to be justification or ridicule after a political killing. The sponsors of this resolution say that line was crossed. That's why the proposal doesn't simply condemn its comments. It calls for formal censure and removal from key House committees. Those are serious consequences, rarely discussed unless lawmakers believe the conduct reflects poorly on the institution itself. What's remarkable is that the argument isn't really about Charlie Kirk's political views. Supporters of the resolution insist that Americans have every right to disagree with him. The question they're raising is whether basic decency requires setting those disagreements aside when someone becomes the victim of political violence. Because once society starts deciding that some victims deserve sympathy while others don't, many fear the political climate becomes even more toxic. That's why this debate has captured national attention. It's no longer just about one congresswoman or one activist. It's become a broader argument about political standards, accountability, and whether Congress should hold its members to a higher level of conduct during moments of national tragedy. The House will ultimately decide what happens next, but the larger debate is already underway across the country. Americans may disagree on politics, but many believe respect for human life should remain above partisan battles. And judging by the intensity of this controversy, that conversation is far from over. For videos like this, like and subscribe.